time this evening is 7 p.m. And that's your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Local Sports Update. I'm Sam Nelson.
At 10 o'clock, it's 76 degrees. Time and 10 brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Barra & Barra, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Look, this next phase it's good to be able to do a little competition and compete against each other.
You know, our staff is here's kind of where we're at with it is the depth chart. There's none right now. So you're going to see a bunch of different combinations when you're out there because we want to see guys line up safety, corner, nickel. Like we want to see them line up at all these different positions and give everybody an opportunity as we go through the OTA practices. It's really important.
They've continued to talk and will talk and they're working hard and tirelessly and you know, I just got to coach Trevor and coach football, and hopefully it gets done, and it will.
1010XL 92.5 FM presents Jaguars Today with your hosts Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, and Dylan Denmark.
Hey, welcome in, everybody. I'm back, much to your chagrin or delight. I don't know. But hello, Tony Smith. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Doing well. Glad you're back, buddy.
Are you?
I am.
Hey, but, you know, it's nice to have somebody to talk to, right? Even if it's me. I appreciate that. And it was not Knicks related, although the timing was suspect.
Mm-hmm.
No question about it. You know, it's one of those, I got so sick on Sunday, and I played golf Sunday morning. You know, came back, like my back kind of hurts. And so I hit a lot of golf balls, man. My back hurts from time to time. But that is one of the things. When I had COVID, I've had COVID a few times now, that back pain was the big indicator. I mean, bad. Like, I was just debilitated almost the rest of the day. Then came the stomach queasiness and started throwing up and all the good stuff. And you get all the gory details. Okay, but anyway, suffice it to say, it wasn't that. I tested negative, and I'm back. So hopefully it wasn't a false negative. But I feel a lot better. I don't know. I don't know how that happened. But Pockets, how are you?
You good? I'm good.
Yeah, are you good? Are we good? Everything good?
You good? I'm good. I thought you were at that NASCAR fight. I thought that's why you were out.
No, I didn't. Okay. My NASCAR fighting days are over. If I'm going to fight, it's going to be over something other than NASCAR. But no, it wasn't me. In fact, my fighting days, I never really had any fighting days, Tony.
Yeah.
You know, I was telling that to somebody the other day. We're playing golf, and we were talking about that. Like, you know, I've avoided a lot of fights by being a bigger guy over the years. You know, you come at him with a deep voice and, hey, you know, that's enough right there. Just that right there. Hey, what are you doing? Oh, excuse me. I'm a lover. I'm not even that. I'm just here.
Yeah. Not surprising at all, by the way, for the older NASCAR fans that Kyle Busch would be the one that's in the middle of a fight. Right?
No.
The video is awesome. If you haven't watched it yet, it's awesome. And it does give you hope for NASCAR making some kind of comeback at some point in time.
Well,
it's the only sport, or how many sports in the world can you have two of your main competitors fist fighting, right, after a race, and then one of them just gets interviewed?
Yeah. It's right? Like, hey, NASCAR, yeah.
Well, and it means nothing. Like every other sport, you get a fine or you get suspended. NASCAR, it's like, hey, it's part of it.
Hockey, you can.
Hockey, you get a little bit of that.
Yeah,
true.
Yeah. You know, drop the gloves and take care of business here.
It's part of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you get a bench clearing brawl, but that's more frowned upon these days.
Yes.
In baseball, and you don't get too many of those, you know, idiots swinging at guys in face masks. Fortunately.
Not too much.
Every once in a while.
Every now and then.
Look, I mean, I'm not saying you should do it, but the guys who swing like a helmet in their hand are the smarter ones.
Yeah, Jacksonville really hadn't been involved in that since, what, A.J. Green with Jalen?
Yeah, I think so.
Is that the last one that's been the Jaguars involved in any of that?
Fans love it, though, right?
Yeah.
As long as your guy's not getting whipped out there, just getting thrown around ragdolled. But, you know, we played that new open today, Dylan, right? All right. That was some of that audio that I'm sure Tony took you through yesterday. We got a little Doug Peterson left to get to today, I'm told. It's so funny. Doug goes, hopefully it gets done, and it will. Right? I mean, so depending on your outlet.
Yeah.
Like Pro Football Talk's like, Doug Peterson's like, they're going to get the deal done. Okay? NFL.com. Doug Peterson on Trevor Lawrence extension. Headline, hopefully it gets done. I mean, literally the very next few words, and it will.
Uh-huh. And
I mean, you know, he's saying hopefully it gets done because he can't speak for the negotiations that he's not a part of. He's not Trent Baalke. He is not, debating the merits of where the dollar signs and the decimal points go in this whole thing. Mm-hmm. He just wants his guy on the field. That's his job, to coach him.
Yeah.
He wants him here. I don't think Doug cares what you pay Trevor Lawrence. Pay him 50, pay him 60, whatever. Is Trevor happy? Can we operate? Do we have enough money to operate? Good. You're going to put a team around him? Okay, fine. I don't think he cares about the particulars of it. So
no,
he's not involved in it. Hopefully it will is like, he can't say it definitely will when he has no real control.
Yeah, he's not in the room negotiating anything.
Right. And he says, and it will, because I have faith in these guys. That's the way I heard that sentence. And if you listen to the whole thing, but man, you can spin it.
Yeah.
Any way you want. He did say those words. Hopefully it will.
Yeah, whatever vote of confidence
Hopefully it gets done.
Right, needed to be heard from, Trent Baalke and the people involved in the negotiation with Trevor Lawrence, whatever vote of confidence they needed from head coach Doug Peterson, it seems like he's been given that.
Oh, he's totally right. Of course he's on board.
Right, like that's Peterson's side of it. It's like, should we re-sign it? Yeah.
Yeah, he's you realize he's 24, right? He's done some good things here.
Yeah. Y'all want to do it this week? Cool.
Right.
I mean, all right.
Do you think for a second, if the Jags didn't have Trevor Lawrence, right? If they didn't have Trevor Lawrence, they'd have Mac Jones right now. I mean, I guess, right? But in that hypothetical world.
Yeah.
But Trevor Lawrence, there was a rule that he could take a year off and go back in the draft. And the Jags could have him back if they would give all their picks next year. Of course they do it. Mm-hmm. They do it in a second. There's so many, these silly hypotheticals that never come to pass because that's not the way it works. But, whatever crazy thing you could set up, there's almost nothing the Jags wouldn't do. They're not going to, if his demand was $75 million a year, well, that's not what the market bears. You know what I mean? But he's also not that guy. There's nothing I honestly, I could expect this to be done any day now. Right? I don't think there's any contention here. I haven't sensed any of that. Trevor has expressed he wants to be here. They know where the market needs to land on him. It's got to be something that reflects what he's done, but also reflects what they think he's going to continue to do. And that's the key. What are you paying him for here? I heard some guys on ESPN in my hiatus, Tony, while I was on assignment for one day, and they said, hey, you know what? Absolutely. Tua, how might we handle this, right? Tua led the league in passing yardage last year. Right. It's not all about just the numbers, right? If you watch the game, you see there's no question in my mind I'd rather have Trevor Lawrence over Tua Tagovailoa. Mm-hmm. That's me. Maybe not everybody agrees. The guys on ESPN are like, of course Trevor Lawrence is going to get his money, and well-deserved because that's what we're anticipating. We are projecting. We're not paying him for services rendered at this point. Services to be rendered is what we're looking at. Mm-hmm. Tony Smith came up with a good Tuesday top 5 yesterday. Good thing, because I would have forgotten completely. That's what being on assignment will do to you, Dylan. Sometimes you forget the day in, day out particulars.
Yeah, my top 5 was going to be your top 5 OTA memories, and I was not going to have one.
OTA memories. Was Jerry Porter's injury OTAs, or was that training camp?
I think that was OTAs. Was
that OTAs?
Yeah.
That was one. Yeah, they're not too many of them. They're mostly injury related. Who's the guy that they signed from Dallas? Always talking about who got the concussion.
LaRon Robinson.
LaRon Robinson. That was OTAs, I think.
Yeah.
It was like his second practice.
Yeah, like Dante,
wasn't it early?
What about Dante Fowler? Rookie OTAs?
Oh, God, that was mini camp. Yeah, but that
was hurt going into mini camp. That's kind of like I have very distinct memories of rookie mini camp because of the Dante thing. And Blake Bortles, that's where we all saw him out there, and we were all looking at each other like, what have they done? Right? Like that's what it felt like that weekend.
There was no more highly anticipated second day of a rookie minicamp than Blake's.
Yeah.
Please, God, don't let that be what we're getting, right? And he threw it okay, but not like you'd be like, okay, now that's the first overall pick or the third overall pick of the draft as he was, but you're like, okay.
Like you can at least convince yourself after day 2 yesterday was just one of those really, really off days. Surprising that a guy drafted where he was would have that bad of an off day. Right?
It spun on the proper axis on the second day. I mean, truly, he was helicoptering balls the first day. It was like he'd never thrown a football.
Yeah.
As we know.
Yeah.
That's the Jags' fault for drafting a guy who's not a natural thrower.
Right. Foretelling of things to come. What is it, breezy today? All right.
What's the weather forecast and pregame warm-ups? Anyway. We're not there. We're well beyond that.
Yeah.
So we want goals for this season, okay? Playoffs, Super Bowl, obvious goals, right? So put playoffs aside, put the postseason aside. What are your top 5 team or individual goals you'd like to see the Jaguars achieve this year? That's our Chad and Sandy Real Estate Tuesday top 5, our question of the day. Beyond the playoffs and or the Super Bowl, what are your top 5 team or individual goals for the Jags this offseason? We'll get into our countdown here coming up. In fact, well, let's not force it in. We'll do our number 5 on the other side, but submit yours today on social media if you'd like, at MD_1010XL, at 1010XL Fat Tony, and at 1010XL Denmark.
Ain't no laws when you're drinking claws, baby.
When's the last time you had a clause there, Pockets?
6 months, 8 months.
It's been a while.
It hasn't been recent.
What's your go-to beverage right now?
I usually just drink a vodka Sprite or
Vodka and
rum and
Sprite, okay,
Coke.
that's
yeah,
fine.
I'm a mixed drink guy.
That's fine.
I don't drink beer.
Nothing wrong with mixed drinks, man. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, I don't really even care, you know. If you want a pina colada, you do you. You want a little umbrella in it. I don't care.
If I drink a seltzer, it's usually at high noon. Those are the only ones I like.
That's an alcoholic seltzer?
Yeah.
Is that what that is?
A little bit of vodka in it.
Yeah, okay. I don't think they had those when I was
No.
Dylan's age, Tony.
No.
I probably would have enjoyed it. Although we had, what was that? Started with a Z, I think. Somebody will call in. If you went through college in the 80s into the 90s, some horrific little, like, I don't know if it was like a wine cooler or some kind of a carbonated, I don't know what it was. Started with a Z.
Zima.
Maybe it was Zima, right? What is Zima described as?
Zima is a clear, lightly carbonated alcoholic beverage.
There you go. Lightly carbonated, right? Horrific. Just terrible. But you know what? Pockets, you always kept a couple in the fridge.
Why not?
The ladies liked them. You never knew, right? So that's why you always had some Bartles and James and a couple of Zima on hand. All right, let's get into the countdown today. If you want to be a part of the program, 641-1010 on the All-Pro Roofing phone lines or on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Gave you those social media handles. You can check us out in the YouTube chat as well and in the virtual studio and watch the handsomeness that's going on in this studio. Do we not? Is this mood lighting now? I heard Jeff talking about it this morning. I haven't thought about it since we installed it, right? These lights up here, Tony?
Yeah.
Have we been changing? Do they still change? Do they do?
I can change it.
It can be changed.
It can't, but we basically leave it the way it is now, right?
Yeah, on the teal.
We ran out of our interest in that new toy quickly. Right? It's like the one by December 27th I never picked up again. That seems to be the case. All right, so we'll do number 5 in our countdown when we return. We got some more Doug Peterson audio. Pro Football Focus, top 25 players under the age of 25. That includes your quarterback, Trevor Lawrence. He's under the age of 25. Does he make the cut? Are you kidding me? And SI has a bit of a dire prediction for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So we'll get into all that and more today. I am back for better or worse. Thank you, Tony, for doing the heavy lifting. This is Jaguars Today. Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, and Dylan Denmark. You can be a part of it right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
1010XL, Jaguars Today Tuesday.
From the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute studios. Brought to you by Dream Finders Homes, official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jaguars football lives here.
Listen, we sticking together.
1010XL.
There's a name you can trust when it comes to servicing your AC system. Bold City Heating and Air, a family-owned Jacksonville company focused only on the local community. And since the extreme summer temperatures are almost here, schedule your summer maintenance today with Bold City Heating and Air. Don't be fooled by the out-of-towners, equity firms, and national corporations that use local names. Trust the AC company born in the Bold City. That's boldcityac.com.
Brackish Vodka, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, is the smoothest local vodka you can find. Made right here in Jacksonville, Florida, 100% from corn, Brackish Vodka is the local gluten-free choice. Brackish Vodka, for those that live life slightly salty, a proud partner of the Jaguars.
Drink Brackish Vodka mixed into classic cocktails with that speakeasy vibe at the Volstead.
Mia here. Are you tired of battling pollen this spring? May is one of the worst months for us. Window Gang will pressure wash all that pollen and grime on your driveways, pool decks, windows, and more. They also have a process gentle enough to clean your screen enclosures. Pollen can even cause buildup that clogs gutters. Window Gang will have your gutters flowing freely again. Listen, I saw the difference after they came out to my house. Call 262-7300 to schedule your free estimate. 262-7300.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative, with answers to the questions I'm asked the most. Yes, we are local, and no, I'm not hiring an actor to read these commercials. Check us out at hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
Homeowners and investors, the choice of title company is yours. When making that decision, choose the team of St. John's Title, LLC. As board-certified expert attorney-owned firm with decades of experience, we provide the utmost in precision and professionalism. Conveniently located offices and in-home remote closing options, we serve your needs. Whether refinancing or selling your property, our customer-first approach is tailor-made to your timeline. With a seasoned team of experts and 5-star testimonials from customers across the First Coast, visit stjohnstitle.com.
It's not training camp, but it is the start of a new season. Listen for 1010XL's coverage of organized team activities and minicamp.
Go, here we go.
Brought to you by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey ham, melted cheddar and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval Sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Need protection? Call Craig and Christine Kaprosky at Goosehead Insurance. The Kaproskys are a husband-wife team committed to finding you the right coverage at the right price in just a few short minutes. For home, auto, flood, or specialty insurance, Craig and Christine Kaprosky are the answer. Craig.Kaprosky at Goosehead.com.
Hey, I'm not going to pretend I know the specific problems you might be facing when it comes to the prospect of selling your home. Maybe you need more space for your office or a growing family. Perhaps you're worried about selling for less money with a low-ball, out-of-state, instant offer. It's a tougher market. It means it's crucial to hire the right agents to sell your home and maximize your price, and that's why I'm recommending Chad and Sandy Newman, chadandsandy.com. They have the plan and experience to get your home sold fast and get it sold for maximum cash. In fact, Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. Can you have any more comfort and security than that? Take Tanya in Palencia. I needed to sell my condo fast. I bought a new construction home thinking I had plenty of time to sell. But I listed with another realtor, and I got no showings and no offers. I ended up paying 2 mortgages. I then hired Chad and Sandy. I got offers in days and closed in under 30. Go to chadandsandy.com and take advantage of chadandsandy.com.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, and summer fun. That means it can be any time, whenever there's warm weather out, to go enjoy the off-roads with a Honda ride. Now, this is a 2-wheeler or a 4-wheeler.
That's right. Honda's got a great line of 2-wheel products, and of course, their side-by-sides and ATVs, which are legendary and a ton of fun to get out with your family and friends.
I tell everybody, you can pretty much load up and go anywhere and find fun with one of those.
Absolutely.
Honda, with their beautiful off-road lineup, 2 wheels and 4 wheels. Check them out on the showroom floor, Atlantic near Regency, or online, cyclesofjacksonville.com.
Hey, Hicken here, and I want to tell you about Beaches Dermatology and my doctor, Dr. Metz. I've been going to Dr. Metz for, I don't know how many years, decades. I got the scars to prove it. Listen, Jets, I love the beach. I love to play golf. I love Florida. I love to go to my kids' games in the hot sun all weekend long. Summer is basically here, and the sun will be shining. Don't forget your sunscreen. Trust me on this. You need to go get checked out today. It's more important than you think. Give Beaches Dermatology a call online at beachesdermatology.com.
All right, guys, be a true grill master with the Sausage Dudes sausage and upgrade that cookout. The Sausage Dudes are guys from Jacksonville who use their family recipes to make better sausage with the best cuts of pork, carefully sourced spices, and natural casings. And the Sausage Dudes are mission-minded, supporting the Boys and Girls Club of Northeast Florida. Try all 4 flavors because your cookout deserves better. Now available at all Publix stores in the frozen meat section. Head to Publix today and get your hands on the Sausage Dudes sausage.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
What are your goals or desires or dreams for your Jacksonville Jaguars this year? Beyond the playoffs and the Super Bowl, those are always goals for any team in the National Football League. Looking for your top 5 today, Tuesday top 5 action. We'll begin the countdown here momentarily. If you want to be a part of it, 641-1010, the easiest way to do it. And we'll get to your phone calls coming up here shortly as well. Do want to delve into those 2 stories I mentioned. One at PFF, top 25, under 25 tone, and SI's less than rousing look at what the Jags are expected to do this year. Man, really. Good thing they don't play them on the digital pages of SI.com, I will say. So, Pockets, why don't we start it off?
Number 5.
There we are. All right, Tony, what do you got for number 5?
I do have kind of a theme to my top 5 outside of what I have at 5, right? And so we'll get into the real theme of my kind of list here once we get into 4 and beyond. But at number 5, it's the only one I have on there that's directly about any kind of record with anything, and it's 5-1 record in the division. And I included as kind of an ancillary thing, 8-4 or better conference record for the Jaguars this year. And I went and looked. No team has won 8 conference games in the last 5 years and failed to make the playoffs. There have been teams that have won less than 8 that have made the playoffs, won 6 or 7, and made the playoffs in the NFC East a few years ago when it was a disaster area. The conference representative there they won 5, right, conference games that year, but that's the only real exception to the rule. But no team in the last 5 years that has gone 8-4 or better in conference record has failed to make the playoffs. So I kind of put the 2 record ones with one another, but 5-1 in the division, 8-4 conference record.
Tony's going with 6 in his top 5, Dylan. I just wanted to point that out at a minimum.
Don't
6
we
in
all?
the top 5. I usually do. I have it at 5 this week. That's why I'm very proud of myself. Dylan, what do you got at number 5?
I based my top 5 based on just general goals. I didn't have like a specific number for these. I'm going to say this, having the same 5 offensive linemen start at least 15 of the 17 games this season. If you look at most teams that are good, if you look at Baltimore last year, Kansas City, you look at teams that have made Super Bowl runs the last couple of years. I'm going a little far back, but Atlanta, they all had the same offensive linemen start every game last year. And if we listen to Doug Peterson at the end of the year, the same 5 offensive linemen that he wanted only got to play one game, and that was at the end of the year. We had Ezra Cleveland banged up. We had, not good with the center. We had Cam Robinson out, and that affects a lot of things when it comes to the pass game and the run game and Trevor, him being banged up. So I'm going to say the offensive line, all continuity playing together.
All right, 15 out of 17 at a minimum with your starters. That's a good one. I like that. I don't think that'll be the last we hear about offensive line play. I'll just leave it at that. Number 5 for me is Brian Thomas Jr. looking the part. Okay, and again, I'm with you. I don't have statistical certitudes on all of these, right? Like, I don't know what that means. Can he look the part and be less than 1,000 yards? Absolutely, right? Does he have a few? It doesn't have to be every single week, okay? He's a rookie, a highly regarded rookie, but nevertheless, can he mix in a few 100-yard games? Does he have maybe a game-winning touchdown catch or 2 along the way? Does he have some highlight plays that lead the Jaguars coverage on SportsCenter? That kind of stuff. Does he look like a great investment and look like a future long-term number 1 running mate wide receiver for Trevor Lawrence? And what those numbers are exactly, I think this is more you know it when you see it kind of thing, Tony. I can't define pornography, but I sure know it when I see it. And I don't know what Brian Thomas's numbers will end up being, but I'll know if I'm satisfied with the level of impact that he's had. And it in part is going to be impact on this year because we got goals now, okay, youngster, so get up to speed. But just, again, for the long term, does he look like this is going to be the guy for Trevor Lawrence that you can envision, Peyton Manning had Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne. Will he be one of those guys that's going to be with him for a 10-year period here in Jacksonville or thereabouts? So that's what is at number 5 on my list. We'll continue and go through the countdown throughout the course of the program today. Let's get a phone call or 2 in to get things rolling on this Tuesday at 641-1010. Glad you're all out there with us as we head up to David in New Jersey, going to lead things off today on Jaguars Today. What's up, David?
Hey, good morning. I'm sorry I don't have a top 5. I've never been to any of the training camps. I was really just calling to check on my fellow Jag Knicks fan and Mike D. Make sure that he's okay. I didn't see you yesterday. I didn't hear you on there yesterday. Just checking on you. That's all, man.
Yeah, I'm all right, man. I mean, look,
well.
I put it this way: as beat up as that team was, I really didn't expect that they would get to the NBA Finals. Would have liked to have beaten Indiana, but I put it this way: I'm rooting for whoever's coming out of the West. So but I appreciate your concern, and I'm going to be just fine, David. I've lived with pretty much Nick disappointment my entire life. So one more season. I got calluses, man. I hope you're okay as well. All right, I take it that's a yes. So there you go. Maybe not. I don't know.
We'll never know.
What can I? I'm more upset about the Yankees blowing a 3-run ninth inning lead yesterday than I am about the Knicks. I didn't think the Knicks were going to win the championship this year, but thanks for your concern there. All right, Tone. Should I start with let's start with the bad, and we'll build towards the good here.
Okay.
All right, with SI.com. Putting a piece out that basically is taking a look at over-under win totals for the teams and why they might or might not reach them. And the Jags, is this still the number, by the way, in Vegas pockets? You're a big gambler. Get us the up-to-date over-under win total for your Jacksonville Jaguars. You can go to Bovada or...
It was 8.5 last I seen.
That's what I have here, and I just wanted to make sure that is still the number for the Jags at 8.5. I think that is probably the number out there. And let's be honest. Many years in recent history, Tony, Vegas has set the number for the Jags. We're like, oh, please. That's insulting. They're going over that. And if you had bet the under on the Jaguars win total for the last 15 years, you would be filthy rich, right?
All right.
You'd have a losing season or two along the way in terms of your gambling, but you would have been cleaning up with your projections. And usually... not always. Sometimes they jump on the bandwagon, but there's been a lot of seasons where the national media is down on the Jags, and we're like, no, and they turn out to be right. So I can't say that that's not the case. Anything that argues with 8.5, Dylan, that you found out there?
No, I saw Hard Rock Sportsbook at 8.5, same as Indy, and then Houston's at 9.5. So we're all right there.
They got a catchy little jingle, don't they, man? You can bet the game with Hard Rock Bet. Anyway, I like that. All right, Jacksonville Jaguars 8.5 prediction under. Well, obviously, I'm setting up a dire circumstance here,
Yes.
Tony. My question is, do you agree with the reasoning, right? Okay. It could go under. Sure it could, right? Lots of things could happen. If Trevor Lawrence, who's in need of a new contract, finally delivers an MVP-like season, this under bet could look silly in a few months. Well, sure it could. It was having a pretty damn good year.
Yeah. We'll get to that
year.
in the PFF thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, when you really look at what PFF, and I want to savor that, right?
Yes.
So we'll tee that up for a little bit later. But he doesn't have to have an MVP-level season for this to end up looking silly. I mean, at one point last year, I wouldn't say Trevor Lawrence was ever on an MVP track. He was having a good year, but they were 8-3, right? And then the health issues started to mount and missed the playoffs by a game. Missed winning the division by a game. So, okay. But the Jaguars lost Calvin Ridley and are now banking on Gabe Davis to be a reliable receiver, a risky move given that consistency was an issue for Davis in Buffalo. Was it not an issue for Calvin Ridley here last year?
Certainly
At
was.
times. All right,
Yeah.
but here's the issue. Gabe Davis, to me, is replacing Zay Jones, right? Brian Thomas, and granted, he's a rookie. He's the one who's replacing Ridley, to me. Like, that's how I look at it. Gabe Davis, to me, is an upgrade. At the time Zay signed here, okay, and you see what they were able to get out of Zay. This coaching staff was able to draw more out of him than he had previously done in the National Football League when healthy. I'm hoping they can do that with Gabe Davis, but Gabe Davis's numbers coming to Jacksonville dwarfed Zay Jones' numbers when he came to Jacksonville. I think he's clearly an upgrade over Zay Jones. That's my opinion. I'm not saying Zay's a bad guy, bad player, any of that. I just think I'm more excited to have Gabe Davis on this team. I'll put it this way. I'm much more excited about Gabe Davis joining this team than I was about Zay joining this team. Zay Jones joining this team. And so will they miss Ridley? There may be times when they do. Will the next guy catch the balls that are hitting him in the hands in the end zone? Maybe he will. Yeah. Right? We'll find out. All right. The offensive line and running game disappointed last season. Agree.
Yes.
Okay? And the defensive line needs to find ways to help stud edge rusher Josh Allen. Perhaps the addition of defensive tackle Eric Armstead is enough for the defense to improve. Well, there's some of that. There's a new defensive coordinator, so there's going to be a new scheme. There's a lot of new bodies in the secondary, but he is the major addition to this defense. But I don't think you can ignore Trayvon Walker's ascension in all this. From 3.5 to 10. And what does he do for an encore? So continue on. This is one of those bets in which I'm okay with letting the team prove me wrong because the Jags didn't do much to address the issues that led to them missing the playoffs last year. I don't know if I agree with that.
Yeah, no.
You know, like, what were the issues? Brandon McManus missed a field goal against Cincinnati? I mean, like, if you want to break it down to that, it could come down to that one play caused them to miss. Trevor Lawrence didn't stay healthy. You could put that somewhat on the offensive line. Did they do enough to address it? Well, they don't mention Mitch Morse. That was a pretty significant piece that they added.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, look, I get it. They're looking at it from their view. We're looking at it from our view, and part of our view injects a little bit of hope into it, right?
Certainly.
For me, and I'm you know, but I don't know. Is that fair critique, or is that just I felt like that was looking at almost the worst possible scenario and everything, and they added Eric Armstead, but that ain't going to be enough.
Well, I imagine, and I haven't read the whole article yet.
I read it to you. That was it.
I did glance at, what they said about the Jaguars, right? But I imagine if you read the section, whatever they have on Houston, that they're going to say they're going to be over whatever the win total projection
over
is.
9.5,
right?
Yes.
Okay. And I doubt in their write-up about Houston, they're going to talk about how on edge it was that they accomplished anything they wound up accomplishing last year. It was all on edge. It depended on the Jaguars having missed a field goal and lost all those games to end the season. Like those things, the Houston success at the end of the season was dependent on that. It was dependent on Indianapolis not completing a completable pass on a fourth down that would have put them in a position to win that game. And Houston staying home for the whole thing, right? Like, and that's kind of like it was with Jacksonville 2 years ago, right? Like, I'm not overlooking that that's what it was like in Jacksonville 2 years ago, and I can understand why Houston would be the hype machine, right, in this offseason. But I don't look at the positions that these teams are in and say, well, Houston was way better. It's like, no, they weren't.
No, but I do get that, like, it's fair to me to pick Houston to win this division. Right?
I might pick them to win the division.
I'm saying even beyond us. Like, just if you're looking at it from outside, you don't have any kind of interest in the AFC South. C.J. Stroud showed a lot as a rookie, more than Trevor Lawrence did. So if you assume he's going to continue to improve, that Trevor may have some catching up to do at this point in time. And then when you have big name additions in the offseason like Danielle Hunter and Joe Mixon and guys like that, it's easy. And Stephon Diggs.
I get it, yeah.
So, it's totally understandable. But you're right. If you break it down to, what the Jags did. Now, whether or not the Jags won the division last year doesn't change what Houston necessarily will do this year. You know what I mean? But I understand what you're saying.
But it changes the way those things are looked at.
Absolutely.
Right? If Jacksonville was the two-time defending AFC South champion, which they could have been if they had won one more game, right? Like, that's all that required is them losing all those games at the end of the season if they had won one more.
Possibly making that field goal.
Right.
Might have been enough.
Right. Like, that's how slim the margin was for the Jaguars making the playoffs and missing the playoffs, and it's on them. And we've talked about that throughout the offseason here. If they were a two-time defending AFC South champion, I think there would still be a lot of people picking Houston to win the division going into this year. I would expect that that's the way that it would go.
The hot team,
right?
Coming
like
up.
I would expect, but it wouldn't be what it is now, which is basically it's almost unanimous. People picking Houston to win the division. With every now and then you'll hear somebody mention Indianapolis, but they're not mentioning Jacksonville at all. After they had the chance, if they had made a field goal, they would be the back-to-back champs in the division. Right? That's not that far off.
I agree.
Of being at that caliber. And I think there is a perceived gap between Houston and the rest of the AFC South that after watching what happened, I don't think it's really there. I think Houston is in for a fight specifically with Jacksonville to win the division this year because I do look at Jacksonville and see a 9-win team and I think they got better.
I think they did too, but I think every team feels they got better at this point in the offseason.
And that's not even to say I don't think Houston feels like they got better too. I'm not arguing that they didn't. I'm arguing that it was pretty close between the two of them last year, and I don't think the gap has widened nearly as much as the perception of the gap between the two has widened over the course of this offseason.
I would agree with that. Nevertheless, that was on the more negative side of the prognostications that I saw over the last 24 to 48 hours. We'll get to that PFF story that'll make you feel a little bit better, at least maybe in part, but not entirely, if that makes sense. I'll explain that when that comes up. Let's get Regina in before the break. Regina in Mandarin, you're on Jaguars Today. Good morning.
Good morning. Glad to have you back, Mike. But
All
you're
right.
frisky, teasing Dylan about the umbrella drinks. All right, well, here's my wish list. Boy, do I have a wish list. Number 1, I'd like double-digit wins, but how's that going to happen? Number 1, we got to start scoring in the red zone. At 90 to 95%, when we're in the red zone, we need to start scoring. Too many opportunities lost last year. Number 2, less than 10 interceptions for Trevor.
Okay.
Whatever's going to happen with the schemes, they got to be better for him not to feel so threatened. Number 3, keep those sacks coming. 30 sacks for the team.
30?
Number 4, I want to get
the
team
30. Regina, they had 40 last year.
Then I'm sorry, I missed. I was thinking just Trevor
Add 10. Let's go 50.
10.
All right.
Let's go there. So
All right.
40. I was thinking of just the two, Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker.
Okay, well, that makes
so that maybe you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay. And number 4, I want 5 Pro Bowl players named. That they need to get their recognition, and I'll take your comments off the air.
I think you did an outstanding job. I don't know what I can add to that. Are you kidding me?
If they get 5 Pro Bowlers,
Go
10 wins
Jags.
is not shooting
Go
high
Jags.
enough.
Add that, Regina. Thank you. Very nicely done. Regina came with receipts this morning, man. Red zone, Tony, cut down the interceptions. 30 sacks out of the duo makes more sense now. They were very close to getting that last year. I like all those points you made, Regina, so I don't have a whole lot to add other than go Jags. And you're right. Yeah, she's saying, I want the win total, but here's how we're going to get to that win total. These are the goals we need to accomplish. All right, let's take a quick timeout. Come back if you want to jump in with your own wish list, be it a top 5, top 4, top 1, whatever, other than just making the playoffs, getting to the Super Bowl. Obvious goals that every team has. What are some of your specific ones for this Jaguar team, and how might they be achievable? And we'll tell you where and if Trevor Lawrence fell in the 25 under 25 at PFF. When we return in a moment with Tony Smith and Dylan Denmark, I'm Mike Dempsey. Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Awaken 180 has been just a godsend to me and just everyone I personally know that has tried it. Look, I know there are 2% of people out there that haven't been satisfied, but over 98% of over 21,000 Awaken 180 customers have been satisfied with the results that they've gotten because the results are spectacular. You lose 4 to 5 pounds a week, probably more when you first start out, and the great thing is it keeps falling off. You get motivated to keep leaning into the program, and then once that weight comes off, Awaken 180's got a great system for helping you maintain that weight loss. You can add a whole bunch of foods back into your menu and diet. And look, I live like a normal person. I don't think like I'm on a diet. It's not a diet. It's not a weight loss crash program. It's a system of thinking about how you eat, what you eat, when you eat. Awaken 180 gets results. 844-346-1800. That's 844-346-1800. Schedule your consultation today. You can do it online at awaken180weightloss.com.
It's Jaguars Today Tuesday.
Brought to you by Dreamfinders Homes from the JOI studios at 1010XL. JOI, where the pros go.
What's the deal with the show?
The 1010XL Podcast Network is now available just about everywhere you find podcasts.
I mean, I think the show's going to be a huge hit.
Search for your favorite 1010XL podcast in your platform of choice.
The Sign and Drive Green Tag event continues, offering 0% for 84 months with no money down on a John Deere compact utility tractor with loader. Limited time offer. Visit your local Ag Pro today. Offer ends May 31st, 2024. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
It's Kubota Orange Days. Shop the year's best selection of Kubota tractors, zero-turn mowers, and utility vehicles, including the #1 selling compact tractor in America. And now through June 30th, get 0% APR for 72 months. Or up to $2,300 off L2502 tractors. See details at KubotaOrangeDays.com. Get food prizes and Kubota Orange Days demos Wednesday 8 to 4 at Coastal Equipment, New Kings Road.
Coastal Equipment.
Are you really even celebrating if you're not getting the Memorial Day meat sweats from Southern Steer Butcher? We're stocked and ready for you. Check out all of our Memorial Day specials online Wednesday to Monday.
For tasty tips and juicy breasts, choose Southern Steer Butcher.
Jags fans, the schedule's finally here, and you don't want to miss these matchups. Whether you want to become a season ticket member, catch 3 or more games with a bundle at the bank, or experience the season with Prowl Pass, there's a plan for every fan. Get locked in by going to Jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. Experience Jaguars game day your way at the bank this fall.
This is Nye Lauren Stemple, former Florida State national champion and the proud owner of NLS Cleaning. Just like on the gridiron, we tackle dirt and grime with unmatched precision. Whether it's your commercial property or your residential space, we are ready to take care of your exterior cleaning needs. NLScleaning.net.
You don't think this would be a good moment to text somebody?
There's never a bad moment to share your opinion on the 1010XL text line. Designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Share your opinion
As soon as possible.
at 641-1010.
Skilled trade jobs are booming, so begin your high-pay, high-demand career today through the Northeast Florida Builders Association. Their apprenticeship program provides paid training in some of the most highly sought-after skilled trades. Get paid while you train. Full-time in carpentry, electrical, HVAC, or plumbing. Plus, earn a 10% raise every year, and the classes are 100% tuition-free. Start your new career today and apply before June 10th at NEFPAapprenticeship.org.
Your cooling system isn't working. Maybe somebody showed up with a portable electronic device. Then they discussed with you what your options are. Maybe they gave you an estimate that seems like an awful lot of money. What's the smart thing to do? When the situation merits a second opinion, get a Mike Merritt opinion. Yes, the Mike Merritt Comfort Team shows up with hand tools. We've never been able to fix an air conditioning problem with a tablet. Mike Merritt has been the trusted name for more than 30 years because there's never any hocus pocus. The Merritt team will walk you through the diagnostic steps up close and personal and show you exactly what you need. And the Mike Merritt price is likely to be far less because there's never an overtime charge, and the Merritt team doesn't work on commission. So remember, when it comes to the health of your cooling system, a second opinion can only help, and a Mike Merritt opinion can save you money. Florida license CACO 50384.
Come on, admit it. Almost everyone you know seems to be playing pickleball now, right? So whether you just want to learn how to play or you're ready to show off your elite pickleball skills, the Y is the place for you. Visit our brand new McGuire Family Pickleball Center at the Brown Family YMCA in Ponte Vedra Beach. 5 top quality outdoor courts and 3 amazing indoor courts where you can learn about dinks, dill ball, falafel, the kitchen, and more pickleball slang at the Y.
Moms and dads looking for some serious summer fun for your kids? Then check out I-9 Sports Flag Football Tournament Series. It'll run through June and July, and you can put a team together and join in on the action. Ages 4 to 14. Go to i9sports.com for all the details. It's happening at Duval Charter School at Bay Meadows at their brand new turf facility. If you've got a youth flag football team or want to put one together, get ready for the I-9 Sports Flag Football Tournament Series this summer. Check it out at i9sports.com.
Hey, it's Tony from Tony D's Pizza. If you love our pizza and pasta dishes, let us cater an event for you. Family function or office parties, we can deliver you an amazing Italian meal. Remember, it's not just pizza at Tony D's. Bay Meadows in 295.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
As long as the criticism, is within certain bounds, it could be accurate what SI wrote. Maybe they haven't done enough. many people, Jaguar fans, have expressed, hey, is that all we're doing on the offensive line?
Yeah.
You know? Yes.
And at least like the last sentence there in that little write-up left it open for they left the door open for the overs in play potentially for this team.
Absolutely in play, but they would bet the under on it. So so be it. Right? You don't have to bet it either way, and nothing they say is going to have any impact on what the Jags actually do on the field. Nothing we say will have that impact either. That's a different story. Of course, what you say will have an impact on it. We'll get back to the countdown here in a minute of our top 5 goals for the Jags, individuals, team-wise, whatever, for the 2024 season coming up, and we'll get to PFF's top 25, under 25, the good and the bad of it, actually. We'll do that in short order. Let's get back to the lines here at 641-1010 on the All-Pro Roofing phone line. Steve in Melbourne, you're up next. Go ahead, Steve.
Hey, good morning, guys. I missed you yesterday, Mike. I really did.
You're one of the few, but thank you, Steve. I appreciate it.
No problem. My 5 goals, I know Regina took a couple, so I'm going to go with individuals. Trayvon, I need you to take that extra step, and 13 at the least. Give me 13 at the least, but try and go over that on sacks. Tyson, I need better than the 2022 version of you. Trevor, I need less than 10 turnovers, but I need 30-plus touchdowns in a combination of throwing and running. Devon Hamilton, I really want him back at 100%, back to that vicious beast he was in training camp. And finally, Tank Bigsby, I need something out of you. I really need something out of you this year. I don't want ETN to be worn out by week 10.
All right. Those are good ones, Steve. I think all those are possible, although the 10 turnovers, if you're counting fumbles and interceptions, I know it's a great goal. Mm-hmm. Boy, I'd bet the over on that, Tone. I mean, that's a hard one for me to imagine if Trevor Lawrence plays 17 games that he's going to turn it over fewer than 10 times. Great goal, and I'm with you. That should be a goal that he sets. That's one I think I would be most skeptical about somebody fulfilling, if that makes sense. All right, Pockets, let's see where we stand on the countdown.
Number 4.
All right, for me, this is very similar to what Dylan said. I didn't quantify it as, the continuity. I just want improved offensive line play from this, and that'll show up in the protection for Trevor Lawrence. It'll show up in the yards per carry average for the running backs. It'll show up in how effective you are in short yardage. It'll show up in your willingness of what kind of plays you're going to call on short yardage situations. Mm-hmm. Be it Tank Bigsby, Travis Etienne, anybody else. If it's 3rd and 1 and we don't think we can bust it up in the A-gap twice and pick up that yard, that's an issue, especially after signing Mitch Morse to a nice free agent contract. So, yes, continuity, health is going to be a part of it. But look, if Cam goes down and Walker Little steps in, fantastic. If Javon Foster's got to play, I don't care. Just play better as a group, right? Because it happens. Yes, it's fantastic when you can have all 5 guys play all 17 games together, but it's not always going to happen that way. So just whoever's out there, we got to have a higher standard than we had last year here with this football team. You got to be able to move people. You're not going to be able to move people at will every single time, but you got to do a better job of it and show up, particularly with some of that short yardage stuff, but just protect your quarterback. That's got to be the number one thing for that unit, as it is for any offensive line in the NFL. They just got to be better at it. Dylan, what do you got?
Staying on the offensive line, I'm going to say having the ability to run the ball effectively. You got to get back to where you were in 2022, get into that 4.5, 5 yards per carry, regardless of who the back is. If you look at every good team that made it past the wild card last year, Kansas City, Baltimore, San Francisco, Detroit, all those teams were able to run the ball effectively. If Jacksonville wants to win in post-Thanksgiving in December and January, you got to be able to run the football.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I think yes, to a degree. I think the Chiefs are able to run effectively, I think, because so much attention is put on Patrick Mahomes. Sure. But they do run effectively, so I'm not disagreeing with that point. I'd much rather have my passing game clicking on all cylinders, and I think that's ultimately the way you win Super Bowls and make deep playoff runs. But we all, I think, are on the same page here. Travis Etienne's we got to get more out of him for the reps. And Doug Peterson did talk about that yesterday, Tony, that maybe he feels like Travis could get a little bit more out of what's blocked for him, but also that if they are able to keep him fresh. Look, this is no surprise. People are writing headline stories about Tank Bigsby over the last 24 hours. Like, Doug's talked about this multiple times this offseason. We're going to get him more involved. They're going to hopefully plan on utilizing him the way you would have thought a third-round selected rookie would have been utilized last year.
Sure.
But he's got to hang on to the football to make that a reality.
Yeah, I do have Travis Etienne at number 4 on my list here.
Okay.
And Travis Etienne has 2 1,000-yard seasons in the 2 years he's been able to play. Obviously missed his rookie year with the injury, but he's got 1,000-yard seasons in both these years. I do think it's more complicated this year because it does feel like there is some emphasis on we need to, split it up for Etienne a little bit more, but I think he's certainly capable of getting a third consecutive 1,000-yard rushing season. Some numbers here with Etienne. Etienne needs 867 yards to become just the third player in franchise history to rush for 3,000 yards. He needs 4 rushing touchdowns, which I certainly expect him to get, to become the 4th player in franchise history with 20 rushing touchdowns, joining Mojo with 68, Fred Taylor with 62, James Stewart, the only other one with 20. He's got 33. So he needs 867 to become just the 3rd player in a Jaguars uniform to rush for 3,000 yards. I certainly expect him to be able to put up those kind of things. He's still, the distance between that and first and second still pretty large. And given how I think we both feel about the long-term efforts for Etienne, I don't expect him to play beyond the 5th-year option here in Jacksonville. But it's not impossible. And if he did, then maybe that brings Mojo, into it a little bit, being able to chase down those numbers with Mojo. But as it is, at least, becoming just a 3rd player in a Jaguars uniform to have 3,000 yards rushing, that's not a lofty number, but it is still a goal out there for you.
Yeah, no doubt. Look, it's a shame for him that he missed a rookie year of production as well. But I'm with you.
Yeah, he'd already been there. Yeah. He'd absolutely already be there if he played his rookie year.
I could see him playing under the franchise tag for a year because the franchise tag for running back is not as daunting as it is at some other positions.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah. So I could see, going on kind of a year-by-year basis.
Yeah.
Or I can even see like a short-term extension. A lot of ways, but I absolutely think, after the 5th-year option moving on has to be in play in today's NFL climate. At the running back position, most teams don't want to pay that position unless it's kind of the cherry on the sundae.
Right.
That finishes off what they think. Or they're so desperate to create any kind of an offense that they need that workhorse back to come in and take the load off. It's one of the two. Like, it's the last thing that pushes you across the finish line, or it's the guy that you're basically saying, please come in and save us because our quarterback can't.
Right. Yeah.
And I don't think those are necessarily either the case with Travis Etienne. I think really, he's an important factor in this, but the quarterback play is so much more important ultimately to whether or not they're going to win that championship here.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Look, I hope it happens this year. I hope I'd love for Travis Etienne to get multiple Super Bowl rings with the Jags. Not rooting for any other outcome, but we'll see how realistic that turns out to be. All right, halfway home. When we come back, we get into this PFF 25 under 25. It speaks highly of your quarterback. I think we've alluded to that, and we'll get to some of the particulars when we return in a moment. 641-1010 if you want to weigh in with your top 5 list today or anything else Jaguar-related, looking at your top 5 goals for the Jags beyond simply making the playoffs, making a Super Bowl run, what everybody has. What are your top 5 team or individual goals for the Jags this season? It's your Tuesday top 5. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
It's a Jaguars Today Tuesday on 1010XL.
From the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute studios.
Brought to you by Dream Finders Homes. Bringing the weekend to the weekday.
Work on 3, 1, 2, 3, work!
1010XL.
What makes a Honda certified pre-owned vehicle so special? 182-point inspection, 24/7 roadside assistance, first-year free oil changes, and a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty for carefree driving backed by American Honda. Visit your local Honda dealer today.
Hon, why is our lawn so stinky and muddy over there?
Where the septic tank is?
Oh, no. Yuck.
Septic alert, septic alert. Time for a spring septic clean? Call Duck Duck Rooter before the deal ends. Just $5.25 to keep your septic alive. For $525, Duck Duck Rooter will pump out your septic tank, clean your outlet filter, plus send a plumber to provide drain cleaning to your main sewer line. Call now to book 904-862-6769. DuckDuckRooter.com. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Brian and Angela Wall here with Window World. By now, everyone has heard about saving money on their energy bills. There are all sorts of things you can do to cut energy costs, but most people don't think about their windows.
But Window World knows that the biggest energy loss in almost every home is the windows. There is more energy loss from old builder-grade windows than just about anything else in your home.
You can upgrade your heating and air, your appliances, that's good too. But before you do all that, upgrade your windows to Window World's energy-efficient windows.
Window World's windows are easy to clean, energy efficient, and have the best guarantee in the business.
Window World's slogan is simply the best for less, and we mean it. You get great American-made windows, and you get to keep more of your money when you buy from Window World. Need any more reasons to buy your windows from Window World? Call them today and set up your free in-home estimate, or go online to windowworldneflorida.com.
Window World, simply the best for less.
Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors.
Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Hey sports fans, it's Ace Carline for Kingfish Pest Control. Are mosquitoes turning your outdoor fun into a full contact sport? Time to call in Kingfish Pest Control. I can tell you from my own experience, they are the MVPs of mosquito elimination. See for yourself. Call Kingfish Pest Control today and get an unbeatable 50% off your first treatment. That's right, sign up for a full season of lockdown coverage and get 50% off your first treatment. Don't let mosquitoes steal your home field advantage. Reclaim your yard with Kingfish Pest Control.
What's spelled funny but smells great? A Kuhn Flowers floral arrangement. Kuhn Flowers. The name is synonymous with excellence for over 75 years. High Flying Jacko here for your next floral purchase. Call on Kuhn Flowers.
If you're a business owner and want to learn about federal, state, or local government contracts, plan to attend a free online webinar May 28th. The Florida Apex Accelerator, in partnership with UNF, provides expert guidance and consultations at no cost. The Apex Accelerator program can make selling to the government less complicated. Attend a free coffee and contracting webinar May 28th. Register at unf.edu/SBDC. Then select Training and Event tab.
Hey folks, this is Dave Benyon with my son Ammon here from Zero Res. Ammon, you've been cleaning air ducts for a while now. What are some of the reasons customers might consider getting their air ducts cleaned?
There are many reasons. Many times, people suffer needlessly from poor indoor air quality produced by the conditions in their air system. Construction dust, the presence of bacterial growth, and years' worth of buildup all come together to make your air ducts a pretty gross place. If you suffer from allergies, have recently moved, recently remodeled, or have never had your air ducts cleaned, then now is the best time to call. By calling Zero Res, you'll have the peace of mind of knowing that you called the best of the best. Our state-of-the-art truck mount system and top-of-the-line service representatives simply can't be found anywhere else. Google Zero Res and read thousands of 5-star reviews.
So what kind of deals can I expect?
Just mention that you heard us on the radio, and we'll give you $100 off your air duct cleaning.
Wow, that sounds like a pretty great deal. Remember, folks, Zero Res,
spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
CEROREC. Zero Res.
Coverage and analysis of the 2024 off-season workouts on 1010XL is brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter, plumbing, septic, and air conditioning. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
New and pre-owned firearms are always in stock at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach. Want a new sidearm or rifle? Brands like Kimbar, Smith & Wesson, Sig Sauer, and Beretta. No lines, no hassle. Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach.
Get grilling this Memorial Day weekend with Southern Steer. Buy a combo pack and snag 1 pound of ground beef and 1 pound of sausage for free. Specials listed online run this week from Wednesday to Monday.
For tasty tips and juicy breasts, choose Southern Steer Butcher.
This is Molly McDonald with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Local Sports Update, brought to you by Awaken 180. Jags defensive back Tyson Campbell is going into year 4 with the Jags. After the season was cut short due to injury last year, Campbell looks to come back stronger and healthier than before. New Jags defensive coordinator Ryan Nielsen spoke on the excitement he has for Campbell for the 2024 season.
Good. Yeah. No, we're excited about him. heck of an athlete. Like, there's nothing he can't do athletically. Really a smart player. Picked the stuff up. Guy's done a great job teaching him and fundamentals, technique, and then how he can operate within the scheme. Obviously, we haven't played any plays yet, so it's not so it's still today's day one. So we'll go out and we'll evaluate him again, but we're excited about him.
It's 79 degrees at 11 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Everything you need to know about the Jags. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
All right, hour 2 of Jaguars Today rolling on. Cristiano, our South American producer, sent me a DM to make me aware that there's some rumblings out there, not just in my stomach, that maybe it's getting close. I don't know. I call him friend of the program. He's been on with us before. Dilla. Yeah. You know him. You love him. From Jaguars Twitter. Just tweeted the number 53. Maybe he's talking about he's getting ready to do his early roster projection. I don't know. 53-man roster, more likely. Maybe he's hearing that's about the number on an annual basis that Trevor Lawrence is about to sign a contract for. I don't know, So I guess we'll find out in time, right? I don't think they're going to keep it secret when they get it done. And I think it's, like I said, wouldn't surprise me at any moment if that news came out. Today, tomorrow, next day. The longer it goes, the more surprised I'd be, honestly. I think they'll have it done before training camp, in my opinion.
Sure.
I mean, I don't, that way you put that whole thing aside. Training camp's here. You're not, interrupting the flow. Not that, I don't know how much that distracts you anyway. Like,
right. Yeah.
Am I going to get $52 million? Am I going to get $54 million? How am I ever going to get by? You know what I mean? I mean, you want to be given the respect of being paid amongst your peers and all that kind of stuff, but I don't get the sense that Trevor Lawrence has to be the highest paid player at the position just because he's the next up.
When did the Herbert deal get announced last year?
Couldn't tell you.
Let me see if I can find that.
I'm sure you can.
Burrow was a little bit later in it, too. Herbert was July 25th.
Okay.
Let's see.
It's probably right before training camps opened up, right?
Yeah. Burrow was September 16th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Different strokes for different folks. It just feels like there's a lot of momentum on this.
Absolutely.
Trent Baalke has talked numerous times about, and Doug spoke yesterday about being in close contact, with the Baalke and Trevor's representatives working this deal out, how they think it's going to get done. So we expect it to get done as well, sooner rather than later. Dylan, before we get to this PFF piece, why don't we continue the countdown so we're not falling any further behind than we need to?
Number 3.
All right, looking at your top 5 predictions for players or the team, other than simply making the playoffs and going to the Super Bowl and those kind of things. What are some of the more specific predictions and hopes you have, Dylan? What do you have at number 3?
Number 3, I got just the interior defensive line being better. I'm going to start with Armstead, the guy we got from San Francisco. If he's able to be more healthy than he was the last 2 years, 2 years ago he played half the season. Last year he played 12 of the 20 games. If he can play more than, I would say, 13, 14 games and just get any production from the interior, because the interior is kind of a hard place to give a stat for sacks or tackles for loss or anything like that, because there's a lot of times where, the quarterback has to escape the pocket because the pocket's collapsing, or the run game, you're supposed to go up the middle, but then you have to bounce it outside. So there's a lot of times where the interior guys make the play, but they don't get the box score for it. So I'm going to say interior defensive line.
Okay. Tony?
Number 3 for me, going to Christian Kirk now. Christian Kirk in his first 2 seasons in Jacksonville had 1108 his first year here, 787 with the injury. He only played in 12 games last season for the Jags. So he was certainly on pace to probably at least match what he did in his first year here, be in that kind of 1,100-yard kind of range. Christian Kirk needs 979 yards. receiving this year to pass Maurice Jones-Drew for 4th on the Jaguars' all-time receiving list. He needs 1105 to have 4,000 yards receiving in a Jaguars uniform. So right at kind of the number he had his first year here in Jacksonville, but gets him, he would be the 4th player in Jaguars history to have 4,000 receiving yards if he's able to get that kind of number.
What did he have? You said 1110 his first year?
Let's see.
Was it?
He had 1108.
1108. He was on pace for 1115 last year.
Mhm.
If you just extrapolated on the average he was averaging in the 12 games he played, if you played all 17, he would have had.
And I would expect if he plays all
11-15.
17 this year, he'll be right around that number again.
I would too. I think he'll be the Jags' leading receiver yardage-wise. I don't know if he'll be probably catches-wise as well among the receivers. Maybe Evan Ingram tops him possibly at tight end, but I think he'll be the leading yardage receiver, pass catcher. Don't know about the touchdowns, though. That can be a fluky thing, and I'm hoping, honestly, that we see Brian Thomas and Gabe Davis in the end zone a bunch this year.
No doubt.
All right, number 3 for me, and I gave Regina the chance to come on board, 50 team sacks. Okay, she went with 30 for the duo of Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker. Jags had 40 sacks last year, Tony.
Yeah.
They ranked 25th in the league in total sacks for a team. 25th in the league. 10 more would have been top 5. 5 teams put up 50 or more sacks last year. 10 is achievable, people. Very achievable. It's basically one every other game added to the total. Continued improvement from Trayvon Walker. I don't know if Josh Allen's going to get 17 whatever again, but whoever's number 3, can we get like 6 out of you? Do we have to be in the 3s? Eric Armstead will get some of it for himself, but I think his presence, as Dylan was talking about, will create havoc up front for these other guys and create other opportunities for other players. I don't know who those players will be that will benefit the most. I'd love to see Mason Smith, come in as a rookie and get 4 or 5 sacks, in a combination from the interior and the edge. I don't know how realistic that is. I don't know how much playing time he's going to get. But overall, the team goal should be to increase that sack total by 25%.
Yeah.
Go from 40 to 50. I think it's very doable when you've got 2 frontline guys, provided they stay healthy. Where's the depth coming from? Time will tell, right? We all know. That's something we've talked about. Have they done enough on that front? We talked about it all last offseason. The 2 frontline guys were spectacular. Beyond that, nothing, basically. So
yeah, and going and looking at the team stats numbers with the sacks, you can, the schedule changed a few years ago to now it's 17 games, right? But in the seasons that we've had in the NFL where you've had 17 regular season games, you're going to have 4-5 teams with 50 sacks. Like that number it doesn't change very much.
Mm-hmm.
In the league, there's usually 4 or 5 teams that are going to get 50 sacks. Before, when it was a 16-game season, that number was 2 or 3. Most years it expands by 1 or 2, right, with the 17-game season. So, yeah, if you're a team that's getting in that 50 sack, you are going to be among the handful of the best sacking teams in the National Football League. Like that's just a bottom line.
Adding 1 every other week.
Yeah.
Right? Just let's say you added 8, right? Because there are 17 games. All right, 48. That's in range, right? But is that not doable?
That's
1
doable.
every other game?
Absolutely.
1 more.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what we need. New defensive coordinator, new, more aggressive scheme. Use Devin Lloyd in the pass rush. Addition of Eric Armstead. Continued improvement from Trayvon Walker, even with a little step back. If it happens, maybe Josh Allen has a 20-sack season. That's within the realm of possibility as well. So I want to see that sack number jump up by about 10. All right, because I haven't been doing this to tease anybody with the PFF top 25 under 25. So I want to give you that ranking before we hit the break. Mm-hmm. So if you've been waiting, well, where is Trevor on the damn list? Tell us already. All right, I'm going to tell you. But we'll save the analysis of it and what the list doesn't tell us for the next segment coming up. But number 1 on the list of the top 25 players under the age of 25 is Penei Sewell of the Detroit Lions. Okay, that's who they have at number 1 anyway. He's 23 years old, Tony. He just got hired. I mean, hard to believe, right? He's 23. He's been in the league for 3 years.
Yeah.
And got paid at the top of the market among offensive linemen. Great player. He had a 92.8 overall grade at PFF, 95.1 run blocking grade, they were both the best among all offensive linemen in the league.
I believe it.
I'm not going to argue.
And he was talked about that way going into the draft.
Yes,
that
he
year,
was.
too.
That he could be one of those type guys.
And he's lived up to it.
Yes, he has. Number 2 is Sauce Gardner. All right?
Yeah.
Already as a case, they say, as the best cornerback in the NFL. His overall grade leads all players at the position over the last 2 years. His first 2 seasons in the league. He has played the 3rd most snaps at cornerback. So it's not like he's, doing it on a small sample size here.
Mm-hmm.
He has allowed 0.52 receiving yards per coverage snap. Now, what does that mean, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's not a stat that we typically think of, but it's the best. And the gap between himself and the second-place player on the list is apparently as big as the gap between that player and the 15th best player on the list.
Yeah.
So he
separated himself.
He is
in that
outperforming
stat, yeah.
statistically. And you go, well, what about this? Why did he have more interceptions? Because nobody will throw at you when you're that good. Okay, so who else do we have here? We got Penei Sewell. We got Sauce Gardner. Number 3 on the list, some guy, I don't know if I think I've heard of this guy. Trevor Lawrence of the Jacksonville freaking Jaguars. That's right. Not C.J. Stroud, not Jamar Chase. These are all good players. Not Aiden Hutchinson, not Brock Purdy. Right? Not any number of really, really good players that are out there. Trevor Lawrence, number 3 on the list, Tony. And I think when you read this, I think we kind of knew this organically. Maybe not this specificity, but reading this, if this doesn't make you feel great about when Trevor does sign that deal, then I don't know if anything will, right? Other than him eventually leading you to Super Bowls and you going, man, I guess I was wrong. Brief 2 paragraphs here. It's only a few sentences. Many might call Lawrence's 2023 season a disappointment, especially considering preseason expectations. However, he earned the highest overall grade of his career last year, and during the first part of the season, demonstrated why the Jags selected him with the first overall pick. His 88.1 overall grade after 13 weeks was 5th best among all quarterbacks in the NFL. What happened down the stretch last year, Tony?
Hurt.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Just got hurt once, though, right?
No, it was...
Or twice?
It was several times.
Like 4 times, right?
Yeah.
He had like 4 injuries he was dealing with.
Yeah, and we've talked about it from the perspective of, I thought going into that Cincinnati game that we were watching Trevor get on the same kind of hot streak he had gotten at the end of the last season.
He had about a 16, 17 game stretch at that point going back to last year.
Like, it felt like he was heating up, right? When going into that Cincinnati game, and we're going to watch it. Like, he was a guy who was good enough the back half of that second season that he got MVP votes.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he was good enough, and I thought he was playing towards that level again. And then all the injuries started piling up. I'm surprised by how much that has been lost in the discussion for some when it comes to Trevor Lawrence. Like, I'm just surprised that it's been lost in the shuffle with everything else that went on last year. I'm glad that PFF at least still has eyes on it, saying, no, you know what? Actually, last year he was pretty good. When everything was said and done. And then it got off the rails for him, and it did.
His numbers probably, and look, this is part of it. Right? Quarterbacks do get banged up. He's not the only guy to play with injuries.
No.
Okay? Nobody's saying that. But his toughness and his willingness to go out there, no practice, I want to play no matter what, probably hurt his performance, right? And maybe in the end, that's a big, I don't think there's any maybe about why they went out and got Mac Jones. Maybe in the end, the Jags regret. Maybe they would have gone with Beathard for an extra game, given Trevor an extra week off. Maybe Beathard would have been a better option. In hindsight,
maybe, yeah.
Maybe not, right? Who knows? But his number fell from like 88 to 79 in the process, his grade at PFF, because of that backstretch when he was playing hurt.
Yeah.
For instance, C.J. Stroud, who lit the world on fire, right, had an 83 grade. Very good for a rookie. Outstanding
Absolutely.
for a rookie.
Yeah.
Okay? Trevor was at 88.1, 5th best in the league through 13 weeks last year.
Yeah, if he stayed on the kind of heater he was on, he might have been in the MVP conversation again.
And if he's healthy, that's what they expect him to do and be even better than that.
It's like PFF put up the argument for why I've been defending against all the Trevor Lawrence people that are like, well, he's got to show it this year. We got to move on. It's like, relax. Right? Like, he's shown you a lot more than you think he's shown you. It's what I keep trying to say to you. It's, you are ignoring all the good that he's done. during his time here in Jacksonville. You're allowed to ignore it if you want, but that doesn't mean that when you say it, I have to just sit back and say, you know what, that's actually – it's like, no, your point isn't a very good one. We all want him to cut it out with the turnovers. That's nothing new, right? We've all said it.
He's got to be better.
Right,
than
cut
he's
it
been.
out. And I think he is showing at points in his career, these last two, he has shown you that he is very much capable of being the guy you thought he was going to be. Like, he has shown you that he's got that in him. If he finds some way to make that consistent, then everyone will be quiet about all this stuff. I know why the noise is there. I just don't happen to share it in making that noise.
Consistent's the key word.
Yeah.
Right? Give me 15 out of 17, 16 out of 17 weeks where I say, okay, that's the guy we thought we were getting. Everyone's going to have a down week. Even Mahomes will have a bad week every once in a while, right? By Mahomes standards.
We watched him several times last year in primetime. Like, who is this guy?
Right. And look, I get it. Circumstances, all that, right? I'm not saying Trevor is Mahomes. He's not. He's not yet, or may never will be, right?
Yeah.
Probably won't, right? Probably never will win 3 Super Bowls. I hope he does, but probably won't.
It's
right?
a high goal.
That's just the reality of the situation. Just get us 1, right? And we'll worry about 2 when we get to 1.
Absolutely.
But he can be that level guy. Start stringing seasons, not 12-week stretches, seasons on top of seasons on top of seasons. You're coming into your age 25 season. Between now and, say, 32, man, time to light this league up when healthy. That's the key. Saw Demetrius tweet out yesterday from the Florida Times Union, Demetrius Harvey, Trevor Lawrence working without any brace sleeve limitation. We back. Show me that in September, please. That's what I want in September, and then show me that again in December, right? So I if he's healthy, sky's the limit, right? But he's still got to go out there and do it. Let's get JC in before we hit the break, checking in from St. Johns County. Good morning, JC.
Good morning, guys. Thanks for taking my call. My number 5 things that my goals for the Jaguars are. Number 5, I would like to see an undefeated home schedule, undefeated wins at home. That's number 5.
Okay.
Number 4, I would like to see a top 10 NFL defense. Number 3, remember these are just goals.
Sure.
Number 3, I would like for the running backs to total 1,800 yards. And number 2, I would like the stadium deal to get completed. And number 1, I would like to have at least a 12-win season. With that, I'll take my comments off the air.
JC, direct your comments right into my veins, please. I'll take all that. Look, the stadium to me is not a season goal. That's let's get this agreed with if this was from now to the end of the season, that's number 1 to me. Because if you have that, man, we can sit here and argue. We can have regular sports arguments and not have any doom and gloom looming, right? Like, if I know the Jags are going to be here for the next 36 years, and that's the way I look at it. It's 30 years on top of the 6 that they still have on the lease. I don't know if that's how they're looking at it, but whatever. For 3 more decades of Jaguar football, let's just put that whole nonsense to rest. Then we can anticipate the beauty of this new facility opening up. So, yeah, I totally agree with you, JC. 12, man, I love 12. Why not 15, right? Like, I have a win total goal for the Jags. It's not that lofty. Like, I'd love it. I hope you're right, JC, but I'll take whatever is good enough to get them into the postseason.
Absolutely.
Honestly. But thank you for the call. Good stuff there. We appreciate that. He had very specific goals outlined for these Jacksonville Jaguars. When we come back, Trevor Lawrence is number 3 on the list of the top 25 players under the age of 25, according to PFF. What about Trayvon Walker or any other young Jacksonville Jaguar? We'll discuss when we return in the moment with Tony Smith and Dylan Denmark. I'm Mike Dempsey. You're listening to Jaguars Today. Keep it right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today Tuesday on 1010XL is brought to you by Dreamfinders Homes.
From the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute studios.
1010XL takes you inside the program director's office with Dan and Jeff.
You've been here like 10 years. You talk a big game, that's all you are, it's just talk.
Mornings.
So you might as well face it.
On 1010XL.
Never really gonna get any bigger than this.
At Duck Duck Air Conditioning, we understand the importance of having a properly functioning air conditioning system, especially in hot and humid climates like Florida. That's why we offer a wide range of services, including installation, repair, maintenance, and replacement of all types of air conditioning systems. The Duck Duck Air Conditioning team is available 24/7, so you can count on us to be there when you need us the most. Contact us today to schedule your service and experience the Duck Duck difference. 904-862-6769 or online at duckduckac.com.
Brackish Vodka, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, is the smoothest local vodka you can find. Made right here in Jacksonville, Florida, 100% from corn, Brackish Vodka is the local gluten-free choice. Brackish Vodka, for those that live life slightly salty, a proud partner of the Jaguars. You can find Brackish Vodka in all the new flavors available at Golden Liquor off Atlantic and Kernan. Pick up a bottle today and drink like a local.
Get this. Joey and me were supposed to go to this concert next week, right? But then something terrible happened. Joey was driving without a seatbelt. But he didn't wreck. No, he got pulled over. Now Joey has to pay for a seatbelt ticket instead of a concert ticket, and I have to go by myself. How lame is that? So Joey, if you're out there, you're an idiot. Wear your seatbelt or you'll get a ticket.
All across the country, cops are cracking down. Click it or ticket, day and night.
Funded by the Florida Department of Transportation.
This is Keith Catlin for Catlin Truck Accessories, and we are so blessed to be in business for over 100 years. Over 100 years of the best product and customer service means you can count on Catlin. From roll and lock bed covers to Lear toppers to cam locker toolboxes, Catlin Truck Accessories has you covered when it comes to your truck or van. We do those too. Got a fleet of vehicles? We can outfit them all.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
One name, one location, 100 years. You can count on Catlin.
Mia here with a shout out to all property owners looking to spruce up your spaces for the spring. Window Gang's exterior cleaning services will remove stubborn stains, restore windows to a crystal clear shine, and ensure your gutters flow freely. Whether you own a home or business, Window Gang will transform your outdoor space. Call 262-7300 for a free estimate. Don't wait. Let Window Gang bring the sparkle back to your property today. That's 262-7300.
Celebrate Kubota Orange Days and have lunch with the ladies of Helmets and Heels at Coastal Equipment New Kings Road this Wednesday, noon to 2 p.m. Enjoy free lunch, register to win a Frio Kubota cooler, and check out equipment demos from Kubota and Land Pride.
How can you reach your weight loss goals by the 4th? Simple. Make a Bacon 180 with Awaken 180. Bacon's on the table, burgers, lobsters, you name it. Don't sacrifice the summer avoiding what you love. Make a Bacon 180 at awaken180weightloss.com.
Attention real estate agents, loan officers, and mortgage professionals. Trust your real estate closings to the expertise of St. John's Title, LLC. As a board-certified attorney-owned and operated firm with years of experience, St. John's Title provides the utmost of precision and professionalism. With conveniently located offices and in-home remote closing options, our customer-first approach ensures a seamless process tailored to your timeline. Join our team of experts and 5-star testimonials from customers across the First Coast. Choose St. John's Title.
I know you want maximum equity from your home, but you're not quite sure how when it comes time to sell it. I'll tell you how. I'll give you 2 hows, Chad and Sandy. More on that in a second. It's a tougher market now. It means it's crucial to hire the right agents to sell your home to maximize price, and we have been telling you now for years. And why I'm recommending Chad and Sandy Newman at chadandsandy.com. They've got the plan and experience to sell your home fast for maximum cash. No required costly repairs. Pick your move date. There are no long-term contracts. You can cancel at any time. But most importantly, Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. Take Mary in Panther Creek. My dream was to move from my Panther Creek home into a new Del Webb Sweetwater home closer to my family. Chad and Sandy made it happen. They sold my own home in just 14 days. Plus, they helped me get into my new dream home at the same time. Call the Jacksonville experts I trust and recommend. Call Chad and Sandy at 414-6200, 904-414-6200, or chadandsandy.com.
Hey Jacksonville, Lauren Brooks here from Helmets and Heels for Big Chief Tire. For over 60 years, Big Chief has been known for fair prices and quality service you can trust. Whether you drive an electric vehicle or a traditional car, they carry the best tire brands to keep you safe on the road. If you're ready to experience great service without breaking the bank, visit BigChiefTire.com or call 904-932-0950 to schedule an appointment at any of their 5 locations. 904-932-0950.
This is Joe C. from XL Primetime and stoked to crank up the 9 after 5 once again at the Golf Club of Southampton. Every Wednesday, a little after 5, the gang at Southampton will be hosting us with a new game, and I'm inviting you to be a part of it. Now, through the summer stretch, break up the week with a little hump day fun every Wednesday. Call 287-PLAY to get on the tee sheet. There'll be food afterwards and prizes, including playing for a membership at the Golf Club of Southampton. Call 287-PLAY and hit the tee with Joe C.
Get grilling this Memorial Day weekend with Southern Steer. How about marinated steak tips, 5 pounds or more at just $16.99 a pound? Specials listed online run this week from Wednesday to Monday.
For tasty tips and juicy breasts, choose Southern Steer Butcher.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Jaguars Today
on 1010XL.
All right, we continue along here on Jaguars Today. We'll get back to the countdown here momentarily, looking at your top 5 goals, wishes, aspirations for the Jags, other than making it to the playoffs, making a Super Bowl run. You know, some of the more concrete numbers and things that will need to happen for them to get those goals achieved, to make the playoffs, to make that run, hopefully deep into the postseason. Also looking at the PFF top 25, under 25. Your quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, came in at number 3 on the list. Ain't too shabby. And you could easily, Tony, see if people were ranking these that weren't as analytically inclined, I think a lot of people would put C.J. Stroud over Trevor Lawrence, right? Because people want to be out ahead of the curve. Like Bijan Robinson is ranked on this list kind of in the middle of the pack. And they point out, he had 200-yard games in his first 4 and then didn't have another one in the next 13. But he's still really talented and young. So we liked him a lot. We're not thrown off by the fact that he wasn't as productive in his first year, so we're going to basically leave him in here. Now, if Bijan had gone out there and had 7 100-yard games, he'd probably be in the top 10. But they have him at 16. Sure. So is he really deserving of that? I don't know.
It's their evaluation.
Right, sure it is. So I don't take it as gospel, and we do tend to highlight it when they say nice things, but, at the same time, they don't always say nice things. So you got to be fair. Let's get to the next one of the countdown so we can get back to this, Dylan. Where are we at?
Number 2.
Tony, what's your number 2 on the wish list?
Let's see. Number 2 for me, Josh Allen needs only 10 sacks to tie Tony Bracken's for the franchise record of 55 sacks in the history of the team. That would be cool to jump that hurdle. I think he's capable of much more than that, especially after seeing what he did last year. Josh Allen, I'm going to predict, gets that 10th sack at home against the Houston Texans on December 1st.
Okay.
That's when he sets the record. So with about a month to go still in the season, I think he gets that number.
All right. One of 7 he'll have that day,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure, as he makes a run at 20. Late in the season, late season push on that. I have Trevor breakout season, and put it together, put it all together. Trevor Lawrence, yes, well over 4,000 yards passing, over 30 touchdowns. I don't want to say it has to be a 3-1. Like if he's 32 touchdowns and 12 interceptions, that's pretty damn good. So I'm not going to be upset if it's not exactly a 3-1 ratio, but I want to have more dominance, more of the obvious Trevor belonging in the conversation. Is he a top 5 quarterback at the end of the season? Have that kind of year. If he has that kind of year, it means all these other things are happening, right? There's only one goal ahead of that for me. That's a team goal. Mm-hmm. But Trevor, put it all together, man, and let's, start earning that $53 million a year or whatever it is that they're going to put in front of you here sooner rather than later, and just put it all together and get back in that MVP conversation and reset that narrative that, oh my gosh, you guys realize here it is October, Trevor just turned 25 years old. My gosh, he's tearing this league apart, right? And let's have that guy under contract for the long term, wanting to be the face of the franchise as he is, and that's it. Just put it all together. Trevor Lawrence, breakout season. What do you got, Dylan?
I got the same as you, pretty much. If I had to say something specific, I'd say Trevor with the situational football. In the red zone, you can't have the games like you had when you end the half against Baltimore, or when they played in London and they threw the pick against Denver or Houston. You just got to get better in the red zone specifically and not give the ball away and turn those field goals into touchdowns.
Yeah, it's a big part of it, right? All that, like, that's all encompassed for me. But, yeah, specifically does need to get better. Cut down turnovers, be better in the red zone. Faster starts would be good. In general, Warren Sharp, Dylan pointed this out to me, Sharp Football does a lot of analytics stuff. Just posted, this is not analytics, it's just the facts. TD scored on opening drives last year. Have you seen this?
No.
San Francisco scored on 10 touchdowns on opening drives.
Oh, my gosh.
Out of 17 efforts.
That's
okay?
bananas.
Nobody else had 10. Nobody had 9.
Yeah.
Nobody had 8.
Yeah.
Baltimore scored 7 times on opening drives. Where are the Jags on this list? They only scored on 3 opening drives, scored touchdowns on 3 opening drives. Now, who are they better than? Well, it's not exactly a who's who.
Mm-hmm.
Tampa Bay, they're pretty good. But
yeah. Well, I can remember Calvin Ridley dropping at least 2 on opening drives, right? Where, I mean, he was open and the ball hit his hands in the end zone and he didn't catch it. That would put him at 5. Where would that put him?
I'm adding it up right now. 15, 16, 17. It put them ahead of 18 teams. 18 teams right now are at 4 or less. Then there's a big middle class.
Sure,
6 teams did it 5 times. 6 teams did it 6 times, and that's good, like playoff caliber. And it's interesting. Like Denver did it 6 times. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Like Chicago did it 6 times. Then you go. Oh, Philadelphia did it 6 times. That makes some sense, but they don't all make sense. Miami did it 5 times, for instance. I mean, generally, you're a playoff competitive team,
right?
If you did it 5 or 6 times. But again, the 2-time reigning Super Bowl champs did it 3 times. So it's not the end-all, be-all statistic, but it is another indicator.
It tells you something.
But
not everything.
We'd like to be better. All right, back to this top 25 under 25. I'm just gonna spoil whatever suspense there is. No other Jags on this list, and that's an issue. All right, Tyson Campbell's only 24 years old. Trayvon Walker is a young pup, and he's the one you thought maybe with kind of a breakout season might be that guy. He won't turn 24 until December, so he's still eligible for this list next year, and hopefully he comes crashing in there. I'm not going to go through the entirety of the list. Maybe I will. But we told you, Penei Sewell, Sauce Gardner, Trevor Lawrence, your top 3. Rest of the top 10, Jamar Chase, Kyle Hamilton, Aiden Hutchinson, C.J. Stroud, Brock Purdy, Garrett Wilson, Trent McDuffie, the Chiefs' corner. And then, not a lot of other good names in there. There are no bad players on this list. Sam Laporta. He had one of the great tight end rookie seasons. How's Laporta not higher than Bijan Robinson? Right? If you're basing it on what they've actually done.
Absolutely, yeah.
So there's some of that. There's some of the analytics of it. But Kyle Pitts is at 25. Has he done enough to merit that?
Big rookie year.
He had a big, but he's gone down since then. Yeah. He had a 1,000-yard rookie season, and he has not hit 700 in the next 2 years. Trayvon Walker went from 3.5 sacks to 10. I mean, that seems like he's heading in the right direction. Here's the issue. We love Trayvon, right? Good player. But when PFF is looking at it, I don't have a PFF subscription, so I can't see all the breakdowns of how they divvy it up. But his overall grade, they'll show you. And he had an overall grade of 53.9. That ain't that great, right? I mean, 53.9, and again, I'm not watching the film with them. I'm not seeing what they're pointing out, where they think he's deficient and where they think he's deficient in some of these areas. He needs more pass rush moves. He had a good sack total. Can he be better in that department? Yes. Again, I don't know what the breakdown is on Aiden Hutchinson. Aiden Hutchinson's grade at PFF last year was a 91.
Yeah.
91, Tone. I mean, that's among the best in the league, I got to imagine.
I would think so.
On the defensive line. Were his counting numbers that much better than Trayvon Walker's? Maybe not. He had 11.5 sacks. What do you have? I have to look at pressures and stuff like that. But, I think Trayvon's pretty stout against the run, but Hutchinson's pretty renowned for that as well. He creates more turnovers, or at least he has. In his first, he had 7 pass breakups last year. What did Trayvon have in that category? I got to look. Man, this Pro Football Reference is giving me scrolling issues today. Really are.
He had 2 pass defended.
2 passes defense. Thank you. All right.
2 each of his first 2 years.
Yeah. So Hutchinson bats more balls down. He's had 4 interceptions, which seems like an outlier, right? He had 3 as a rook, 1 last year. But regardless, I mean, so that's what they're looking at, the overall body of work, and they're saying that Trayvon's not even in Hutchinson's class right now. Never mind, is he better than him? Hey, I'll pin that up in Trayvon's locker and point out the fact that they don't think anything of you. I don't know what to, but at the one hand, we're lauding their look at Trevor Lawrence going beyond some of the obvious stuff. And so they're doing the same thing with Trayvon Walker. We just, don't like the outcome of it. So
Trayvon Walker closed the gap a little bit last year, but that doesn't mean that he's anywhere near where Aiden is, right? Like at this point in his career, it was a really kind of disappointing rookie year for Trayvon Walker. I remember the interception week 1, right? And beyond that, I can remember twice where he got penalties in crucial moments. That's what I remember from his rookie year, right? Here in Jacksonville. And we talked about it last offseason. Needs to step up. He did, right? Took a big step up in year number 2. Aiden Hutchinson was great when he got on the field. He got better in year 2 as well. The gap may have closed, but that's because of how far behind I felt like Trayvon was after 1 year. Aiden Hutchinson is going to be talked about among the handful of the best defensive ends in football for the short term. Trayvon Walker is not anywhere near that discussion right now. I think he's talented enough physically to get into that discussion, but he's got to earn that, right? It's closer than it was after 1 year, but Aiden is a really good player, and Trayvon is a solid player. Like that's the way I look at it right now. It doesn't mean I think it's a bust. I still disagree with having made the pick to this point in the process.
Look, he hasn't had that Josh Allen type to draw double teams either in Detroit. And we'll see this year. Playing with Marcus Davenport, who's at this point like a talented journeyman, right? Who's never really put it all together. So all the focus will continue to be on Aiden Hutchinson, and if he continues to put up comparable or better numbers than Trayvon in those circumstances, you can understand why people say he's the better option. But anyway, I would have liked to have seen a few more on the list. Obviously, the most important guy is Trevor Lawrence, and if he truly is that, if he plays up to that ranking this year, then that will take – I'd rather have that than have Trevor Lawrence outside the top 25 and Tyson Campbell and Trayvon Walker both in the top 25. Right? Yeah. So we'll get to our number 1 in the countdown and look at a few of your top 5s when we come back here in a moment. Your Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day, outside of just the obvious making the postseason, making a run to the Super Bowl, what are your top 5 goals individually or team for the Jacksonville Jaguars in 2024? We'll get into all that coming up as we close out the show straight ahead. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Make the simple phone call, 844-346-1800. I've been talking about it. Great success, worked wonders for me, and I've been able to keep all my weight loss off. I lost my weight last September. I've never had this kind of success not putting anything back on over all these many months. Ask Matt Hayes. Ask Hacker about it. There's less of them to go around. And that's a great thing. They're healthier. They feel better about themselves. They're lighter on their feet. There are fewer aches and pains in everyday life. You look better. You feel better. It's just that simple. Awaken 180 can help you get there like they've helped over 21,000 other satisfied customers. Awaken 180 has been getting it done by using a system that has you eating to lose weight. It's just a matter of when you eat, what you eat, how much you eat, how frequently you eat it, and they'll turn your body into a fat-burning machine, and you'll keep that weight loss off. Call Awaken 180 again at 844-346-1800 or schedule your consultation online simply by going to awaken180weightloss.com.
1010XL Jaguars Today Tuesday is brought to you by Dream Finders Homes. Homes built to fit your lifestyle.
From the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute studios.
Making the ride home a little more enjoyable.
You keep the crew happy and you can't go wrong, eh, Frank?
Well, that's the idea, right?
The Frangie Show.
Oh, that's good. That's good fun.
Afternoons on 1010XL.
When it comes to towing products, your safety on the road is the priority at Cannons of Jacksonville. Whether it's a heavy-duty tow hitch, trailer frame, wiring, gooseneck, tow bar, or any other towing accessory, Cannons has decades of experience to ensure your towing setup is installed with precision and reliability. Visit cannonsofjacks.com to explore a range of products and schedule your installation. Cannons of Jacksonville, your trusted partner for a smoother tow.
Is your old AC trying to keep up with the Florida heat?
At JTM Comfort Services, they understand the importance of a reliable AC system. That's why they offer financing on qualified repairs and replacements. Don't suffer through another scorching summer. Upgrade now to a new, energy-efficient system. Visit jtmcooling.com to learn more and schedule your consultation. Veteran and family owned.
Your comfort is our name. Call my dad to keep you in the game.
Brian and Angela Wall here with Window World. You've heard us talk about it. Window World, the #1 window replacement company in the USA, selling over 1 million windows each year for the past 8 years.
That's a lot of satisfied customers and why J.D. Powers has awarded Window World Best in Customer Satisfaction 3 out of 4 years.
Window World stands behind their slogan, simply the best for less. With Window World, you get top quality windows at a price that leaves more of your money in your bank account, and you get the absolute best guarantee there is in the window replacement industry. When compared to our competition, there is none. See for yourself. Call the competition. Get quotes from them. But before you buy, get Window World's free estimate and compare the quality of the windows and the price.
You'll see.
And when your new Window World windows are installed and they're saving you money on your energy bills, if anything goes wrong with those windows, Window World and I will be there to make it right. That's my guarantee.
Call Window World today. Start saving money on your new windows and your energy bills and take vacation with your savings. Window World, online at windowworldneflorida.com.
Window World, simply the best for less. Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors and siding. It's Kubota Orange Days, your golden chance to score a deal that will make your neighbors green with envy. Shop the year's best selection of Kubota tractors, zero-turn mowers, and utility vehicles, including the #1 selling compact tractor in the USA. And get the year's best deals, like 0% APR for 84 months or up to $3,300 off L3302 tractors. Coastal Equipment on New Kings Road and in McClenny.
Coastal Equipment.
American Electrical, Northeast Florida's highest-rated electricians, is hiring, and they're looking for people to train for careers. It's not just job training. They're giving you a license that no one can take away from you, training you for jobs that are always in demand and will offer you a peace of mind financially and for the future. Once you know a trade, you'll always be employable. All the details are at american-electrical.com, and with their American Electrical Academy, if you're selected, you'll learn the electrical trade absolutely free of charge. American Electrical Contractors, powered by professionalism.
Don't just watch the position, learn the position.
Denny Thompson is the quarterback whisperer, and he knows.
We invite you into the lab so that you can truly learn the quarterback position.
Friday mornings on The Drill, brought to you by Tyson Sound and Security and George Moore Chevrolet on 1010XL.
We've all seen great overtime games and thrilling finishes, but when it comes to having a big time, knowing when to say when is key. Budweiser reminds you to win the day and night by designating a driver. That's a victory every time.
If you're a business owner and want to learn about federal, state, or local government contracts, plan to attend a free online webinar May 28th. The Florida Apex Accelerator, in partnership with UNF, provides expert guidance and consultations at no cost. The Apex Accelerator program can make selling to the government less complicated. Attend a free coffee and contracting webinar May 28th. Register at unf.edu/SBDC. Then select Training and Event tab.
Imagine waking up this time next week and being 100% debt-free from credit cards, car loans, and personal loans. Hey, Prosser here. Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit can make it happen. Homeowners are turning their home equity into cash almost instantly. With Loan Pronto's AI-based system, you can get approval in about 10 minutes with almost no documentation, no appraisal, and no hassle. You can get hundreds of thousands of dollars out of your home. Use that money to pay off all your other loans. The average homeowner saves over $850 a month doing this. Listen, your home value's way up. You can use that to wipe out all those credit cards. Get some money for a home improvement. Literally hundreds of thousands are at your fingertips, and approval is just minutes away. So call now, 904-999-1508, 904-999-1508, or go to loanpronto.com. NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, equal housing lender.
I-9 Sports is fired up for their summer flag football tournament series, so make sure your team is part of the action. It's all happening in June and July at Duval Charter School at Bay Meadows at their brand new turf facility. Register as a team and join the fun at i9sports.com.
Spring has sprung. What a great time to get your house ready forever. Stop paying for exterior paint that doesn't protect your home or business. Rhino Shield's beautiful durable coating never chip, crack, or peel. By the way, they back it up with a 25-year warranty. No mold, no mildew, no algae, all while saving you thousands compared to the cost of repainting it. Right now, 0% financing, up to 25% off. Never been easier to paint your home with Rhino Shield. Book your free estimate today at rhinoshieldjacks.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
All right, final 8 to 10 minutes of the program today. Depends on how overtime we want to go. Tony, why don't we, as we are so Jaguars-centric, we sometimes don't look outside our own backyard, but let's take a look around the rest of the NFL.
Now, Gems Around the NFL, brought to you by Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jax Beach.
Cincinnati wide receiver T. Higgins, who did request a trade earlier this offseason after the Bengals placed the franchise tag on him, is not expected to report for the team's OTAs. Next week, Minnesota wide receiver Justin Jefferson did not report at the start of the Vikings offseason program, as he and the team remain in talks about a long-term deal for the star receiver. Dallas wide receiver CeeDee Lamb, who is entering the final year of his deal, is not expected to report for the Cowboys' voluntary offseason program today. New York Giants quarterback Daniel Jones, who underwent surgery for an ACL injury in late November, was able to participate in the 7-on-7 portion of Giants practice on Monday. New England wide receiver Kendrick Bourne, who suffered a torn ACL last year, will not be participating in the team's voluntary portion of the offseason. Bourne suffered the injury in late October, and Patriots head coach Gerard Mayo said on Monday that offensive lineman Cole Strange is month-to-month right now as he continues to recover from a late-season knee injury that he suffered. Ian Rappaport tweeting out this morning that Strange may be out for up to half the year with the injury as he continues to recover.
All right. Thank you, Tone. There you go. What's happening around the rest of the National Football League. All right. We are down to number one in the countdown, so let's get to it without further ado.
Number one.
Let's get to it without further ado.
Number one.
Tony.
Echoing what you guys said at number two, Trevor sets the single-season franchise passing marks, passing Blake Bortles 4,428 yards and 35 touchdowns in 2015. And if he does do all that, then the Jaguars will have whatever level of success you would expect them to have, I would think, this year.
Okay, Dylan.
Let's say points per game. Jacksonville was 13th in the league last year with 22.2. There was a top six of like everybody was about 29 to 28. They got to get to that, I'll say 27 range points per game.
Points per game. All right, there you go. For me, it's simple. Win 10. You know, and what is that a goal about the postseason? Well, kind of, right? But if you win 10 every year, you're going to make the postseason almost every single time.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I liked your earlier, you mentioned 5-1 in the division. I think, you know, winning as many division games as possible is always a goal. And if you win 5, that's great. Now you only have to win 5 more to get you to that 10-win total. And you have a really good chance with that kind of gaudy division record to be a division champ, even at 10, 11, whatever. Let's get there as quickly as possible. But all these other things, you know, Trevor's breakout season, the sack total, all the other things in my top 5 are all geared towards helping the Jags win more games. That's the bottom line. Just win 10, man. Trevor Lawrence, if he is, you know, quarterback 12, but they win 10, they go back to the postseason, and then maybe, like, Tone, if they win 9 and go to the postseason and win 2 games in the playoffs, would you rather that, or would you rather them win 11 and then get knocked out in the first round?
Win 2 playoff
Of
games.
course,
Easy.
right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's no matter what Trevor does, and any quarterback to some degree in the regular season, it's only going to take you so far. You know, what do you do to make your team a championship contender? That's what we'll find out what Trevor's capable of. I got to have help. We understand it's not a one-man game, but he's the one guy who can elevate more other pieces by himself. Here's some of the top 5s we received. From Nick, 45 or more sacks, 4,500 passing yards, 7 or more defensive players with at least 1 turnover. I don't know how many they had in that category last year. 1,000 yards or more rushing from ETN and win at least 5 road games. Like it. Baxter said, get the Trevor deal done. Ryan Nielsen proves to be a long-term coordinator with a great scheme. Tyson Campbell returned to form of 2 years ago. Top 10 in sacks and top 5 in pressures. And Brian Thomas at least in the conversation for Rookie of the Year. Jag Fan 15 over 500 in the division, so at least 4-2. Feel like Trevor's being protected. Jags in the top 15 in sacks, maybe. Again, 5 more sacks to put him in the top 15.
Yeah.
Have more than one Pro Bowler and win the South. Again. Doom weighed in, but he also weighed in on some other things. He was the first one to – he must have been a Zima drinker. He was quick with the Zima reference, I thought, earlier. But Doom went number 5, healthy Trevor all season. Cut down fumbles is number 4. Sweep Tennessee is number 3. Don't let Indy win in Jacksonville. And a winning record for the 3rd year in a row. Those are all very realistic. I can't control the injuries, but it's certainly within the realm of possibility. Chip off the old block said, get Trevor his money, get Travis Etienne his money, get the stadium deal done, get a double-digit winning record, and take the AFC South back. Again, Trevor's money, get that done before the season. The stadium deal, get that done before the season. I don't think you're going to see any new money for Travis Etienne anytime soon.
Probably not.
Marcus said, protect the QB, pull the run blocking out of the basement and back to a functional level. Fewer blown coverages, more play action passing, and fewer missed tackles. That's always a good one. Protect Trevor, catch for Trevor. D-line brings Saxonville 2.0 back. Make 92% of our kicks, very specific for Bush Drive Rich, and Offensive Rookie of the Year or Offensive Player of the Year, whoever that happens to be. I'd like it to be Offensive Player of the Year, Trevor Lawrence. That's the one.
Yeah.
There's no Josh Allen can win Defensive Player of the Year. That's nice. Offensive Player of the Year or MVP, however you want to look at it. Trevor Lawrence. That's or being in that discussion would be the best thing you could have. Joshua said strong running game in the top 10, low turnover ratio on offense, high takeaway ratio on defense, win one of the top 3 seeds in the conference, and Lawrence has an MVP-type season. Cristiano, Trevor, top 5 quarterback. Brian Thomas Jr., Rookie of the Year. Josh Allen, Trayvon, duo, top 5 in sacks for duos. Sweep Houston, and one of the top 2 seeds in the AFC. Kevin just went next step in every facet. Just take the next step in every single facet. So anyway, you can go through the timeline if you want to check out what some of the people are looking for. I think 40-plus sacks. They hit that last year. Got to be better. Saw that from Code Blue. I think 50 is the goal. That's the target, and go blowing past it. I don't expect it to be like the Eagles were 2 years ago.
No.
4 guys with 10 or more.
Yeah. Looking at the turnover kind of number that you mentioned there with the, have how many players?
7.
7. They had 8 players with an interception last year. Looking at that list, Andre
seemed like
Cisco,
7 was very doable.
Yeah, Darius Williams, Antonio Johnson, Rayshawn Jenkins, Foye Oluokun, Josh Allen, Tyson Campbell, Andrew Wingard all had interceptions last year. You add just the other players who had a fumble recovery on defense for the Jags last year, Angelo Blackson, Trayvon Walker, Devin Lloyd, Jeremiah Ledbetter, all players who didn't have an interception but did have the fumble recovery, so that would expand that to 12 players that had an interception or a fumble recovery for the team last year.
Shooting low.
Yeah. Maybe that number should be something close to 18 to 20.
Yeah, I don't know what the number should be. Look, does it matter that much? Like if you have a guy having a Trayvon Diggs or a Deron Bland type year, right, where they're piling up 10 picks on their own, just create a bunch of turnovers.
Yeah.
Wreak some havoc, hit quarterbacks, bring back Saxonville, crush the competition, do all these things. It's all within the realm of possibility. All right, we're going to wrap it up for today. We've still got some Doug Peterson left over from yesterday that we didn't touch on today. That happens on Tuesday with the top 5. Appreciate all of you out there listening, particularly the ones who gave us the feedback with their top 5 lists out there, whether it be on social media or the All Pro Roofing phone lines or the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures, wherever you happen to give the show feedback. We do appreciate that. That'll do it for us today. Stick around because Helmets and Heels is coming up next. So for Tony Smith and Dylan Denmark, I'm Mike Dempsey. Back again tomorrow from 10 to noon with more Jaguars Today right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
1010XL.